it's your girl, Deshonda Carter, but you can call me DC. Thanks so much for tuning in today to my show, When the Blue Comes Off. Sit back, relax, take notes, do what you like, and let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my very special guest, retired New York City Department of Correction officer, none other than the fabulous Karen Quinones-Smith. Yay!
Thank you.
I am so glad that we finally got the opportunity to connect. I mean, scheduling on your part, my part, it's just been a mess, but thank God we are here today to talk about all of the wonderful things that you are doing in the community, and I'm just excited and I can't wait to share your story. So, before we jump into all of that good stuff, we're going to talk about your career in the Department of Correction. How that sound?
Sounds real good to me, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's talk about it. How many years did you do with the department?
Oh, I did a full 20.
Okay, so you were like me. You was like, when that 20 came, you was out the door. You wasn't even sticking around for that.
I was counting the days, the minute. I was like, what day you say I could leave?
So what made you want to take on this line of work?
Well, it was either this. I passed the correction test. I passed PD's test. And I thought about it. And I said, being outside in the street was not going to be for me. And inside, in corrections, as you know, we were a family. You hit that button. They right there. If they mad at you or whatever it might be, they still coming to get you. They still coming to help you.
Well,
so
you didn't know
that rapid response.
You didn't know that initially. So something drew you to take them civil service tests to begin with, because a lot of people today, I find, are not taking the test like they used to. I feel like because there's so many other opportunities out here in terms of independent contracting work.
Absolutely, yes.
Entrepreneurship. So a lot of people are not going the same route like we did. But initially,
Correct.
There was a reason that we took this test. And what was your initial reason? Like, I'm going to go take these tests. Like, what was instilled in your brain that made you say, I have to take a civil service test?
Well, family, first of all, because family, like, oh, that's a steady job, good income, good benefits. And then I had two cousins that were already in corrections.
Okay.
And they were like, they loved it. They were making great money. And, they built great names for themselves and everything. And they were doing their things. So I said, well, let me jump on this bandwagon too.
So after you came on the job, right, did you expect it to be what it was? Or did you, because you had the family members already here, you already had kind of an inside track. But when you physically donned the uniform, did you feel a different way? Like, oh, I thought, I could do this. Or, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Like, what was your initial thought?
My initial thought was, oh my God, what did I get into? Because I was for 1 month and we had a major riot where people I was in the academy with got hurt really bad. So, I was just like, what am I doing? Am I coming back? On probation, not supposed to call in sick. I called in sick. I had to get my head straight. What am I going to do here? Am I going back? My friends are hurt. And my cousins talk to me and they're like, listen, sometimes this happens. You're going to be all right. Let's go. And I wasn't very hesitant, but I did it. Because I had a good group of officers around me. And God bless my sister Mohammed, who just passed. She taught me everything I know about corrections when I got it. She just took me under her wing and taught me everything.
Wait, you said Sister Muhammad from Rosie's?
No, Muhammad, she was Alicia when she was in OBCC.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the imam.
No, but she was great. She was fantastic. She just took care of me.
So let me ask you now, when you left the academy, what jail did you initially go to? Like, what was the facilities that you worked throughout your career?
I was at OBCC most of my career.
And then
complete
you left?
family.
So we know that.
And
You left OB and then you went to...
I went to work for Chief Pagan in your
So
trailers.
so let's go back to OB because we don't care what was going on in Chief's office. Let's talk about the
But I
jail.
went to transportation and SSD too now.
Right. So okay, so when you were in OB, that, like you said, is a commodity family job. And I think everyone who comes on the show that really talks about their facility, everyone's home facility, I think, is the best to them. Right? So I'm biased because, of course, OBCC, Otis Banham Correctional Center, was my first facility as well. So I am biased to it. However, I want to hear your perspective in terms of why you felt it was such a family-oriented facility, and what did you gain from working there as opposed to when you left and worked in your other commands. Q? Oh gosh, we lost Quinones, so we're gonna take a pause and we're gonna go get her back and kind of figure out what's going on. Okay, guys, I got her back, so we're gonna repeat that last question because she didn't hear it. So, what was it that while you were in Otis Banham Correctional Center that you learned there that made you, would you say, made you better prepared for your other facilities? Since you did say that was a heartfelt command, and the camaraderie and the things that were going on there, what did you learn there that you were able to take with you throughout your career?
I learned trust, number one, and we had each other's back. There's no question about that, and we could trust, the other person to be with us and help us to get through a situation. And if you ever had problems writing or whatever the case is, we would help each other, and that's just how it was. It was just love, nothing but love.
So with all that being said, with you being in a command that you were able to embrace the staff and the staff embrace you, if you had to do it again and go for day one back into this line of work, would you?
If it was at the same time, yes. Today, no.
I'm glad you said that. You said today, no. Now, obviously, we watch the news, we follow, what's going on. What would make you say that today you would definitely not be interested in this job?
Couldn't trust anybody. Because everybody's telling on each other. And that's not something we did.
No, that's not. But I also find that it's I know we had overtime. Overtime was, always there, but I find like the staff there seems to be overworked.
Yes.
There's a lot of and I didn't know this, and maybe you did, but I didn't know this, and it was never really presented to me during my time there. But there's a lot of sexual assault on staff. Staff that is going on now too, as far as the female officers is concerned. And that's very bothersome to my spirit, because nobody understands how it is to be locked in. Right? They think
absolutely.
They don't realize it's one female officer to 56 or 50 males at a time on the floor.
Yes. And I was never scared back then. I wasn't, because I knew that, like, my B officers had my back or my A officer had my back. I was not afraid back then for some reason. But I have heard about so many things going on, because I do go to the women in corrections meetings, and I hear and I'm just astonished that this is being allowed to happen, that nothing's being done. Because I know back when I was on the job, if something happened to a female officer, well, it wasn't going to happen again.
Right. And I think that's what we've lost. Like, I think the department itself, everyone is, like you said, out for self. So, if I tell on this one, they think it'll give them another a step above them.
Another accolade to move up. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, because the one that you gain with brass, you lose 20 with your fellow officer.
And they don't realize it. You know what I mean?
No.
You have to be able to look to your left, look to your right, and know that these people have your back no matter what transpired the day before, the week before. You know, when you
Exactly.
assume that
Yep.
post, that person has your back.
Definitely. Definitely. And that's completely lost.
Yeah.
Completely.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. But tell me, on a bad day, your worst experience. Your worst experience that you endured while, and it doesn't have to be an OBCC, throughout your career, a memory that you was like, ugh, like I wish I could relive.
Mm.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I was a control room officer.
Mm-hmm.
We had an escape.
Mm?
And, the inmate climbed out of the yard and got out.
The
So
main
here
yard?
come Daddy. Huh?
Out the main yard. And right there, by across from the control room, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
So now, we got lockdown, pedigree, everything's going on. I'm the A officer. I got to do the count, and I was very proficient in my count. I was very proud of what I could do. But I was messing up because Daddy D, Chief Davern at the time, was breathing down my neck. He was on top of me, like, you got the count right? You got the count right? And that bitch and her greatness came over, and it was like, you leave her alone and let her do the count. And I was like, please leave me alone. Once he left me alone, I got the count right. We still was missing the one inmate, but that was like one of the hardest days of my life. Like, this is so important to get this count right. And it's so important to make sure everybody realizes that we really have an escape. This is not a drill. This is for real. And we got to find this inmate.
I know that had to be really stressful because I could, one thing is when the chief at the time was warden, but at the chiefs is starting down your throat about getting them numbers correct. Yeah, That's definitely pressure. But now that doesn't sound as bad. People are listening and say, "Girl, that ain't nothing." You wasn't getting assaulted. That was nothing. Because we have some people that have unfortunately have had it really, really bad. I mean, for me, I tell you that I think if any thought for me is always going back to when that inmate threw feces on me, like, ugh.
Well, yeah,
that was a bad day. But
absolutely.
Tell me about a great day, a day that you will never forget throughout your career that was so memorable to you.
I'm A officer in the annex, 3rd floor. And my inmates know I don't play. It was always like, don't make me write for stupid things. Let's just have a good day. We're going to get through this. So, house gang came in the bubble. They like, this cue. And they're getting ready to throw down. They're going to do this. Everybody's got heat on them and everything. I'm like, oh, God. Okay. So I called the captain and I had shut down all the cells. So now everybody's outside of the cells. There's not one person in the cells. I'm like, deuce it up. Everybody deuced it up. And I said, okay, guys, this is amnesty time. This is it. This is the only time you get. And all you can hear is all the shanks dropping on the floor.
Can you imagine what that would have been like?
Yes.
But yet,
it was crazy.
You managed to come back to work the next day.
Absolutely. Because you got to trust who you trust. Mm-hmm. And, and listen, we did good. My B officers listened. I listened. The captain came up with the people he came up with. And, we did our thing, because back then the rec crew was the rec crew.
Right.
So in other words, when the rec crew came around, everybody acted right.
So now you left OBCC. From OBCC, you went to the trailer or you went to SOD? So which was the...
I went to the trailer first. So
we're gonna bypass the trailer.
We bypassed that.
So when you left the trailer, so guys, let me just update you with a little jargon. So house gang is actually like house detail. They're the people who clean. They're the inmates who clean up in the housing areas where the inmates reside. So new word for today: house gang means house detail, and they are the sanitation staff for the housing area. Okay. Everybody with me? Sounds good? Great. Let's move on. I just had to make sure they were like, house gang? Like, what is she talking
Yeah,
about? There was
what's
a gang?
that?
Like, okay. So now we move on. We are now working in SOD.
Transfers.
Okay, so transportation division. Tell us about your experience there.
Now, I'm going to tell you, next to OBCC, it's definitely one of my favorites, for sure. Definitely. The best part about transportation is it's you and your partner, and you make all the decisions out there. There's nobody breathing down your neck. You have a lot of freedom to do what you need to do. And you only do maybe 2-3 runs a day.
Now,
So
a person would say though it's the most dangerous because it's just you and your partner, and you're out in the street with a bus load of inmates. So that didn't make you uncomfortable.
No, it's how you present yourself, first of all. So you're going to let them know you're not taking any nonsense. You're not going to let them get on the bus with anything they're not supposed to have, no water, nothing. If you're not supposed to have it, you're not taking it. I had very good partners with me, and they did thorough checks on the inmates before they got on the bus. And we would say straight up, you're not getting on. You don't want to do it. You can wait for the next bus. Sorry. But you have to comply. For us, you had to comply to get on our bus. And we felt safe.
Well, I'm glad that you felt safe, because if you didn't feel safe, then nobody else was going to be safe out there in them streets. If you were scared, because you had to be 100% transporting a busload full of inmates. So kudos to you for that.
And high profile ones. We had high profile ones. And, to be honest, the high profile ones are not the problem.
Right. They just want to get...
they want to get through it. Mm-hmm. And they want to go to court, they want to get the sentence, or they want to get let free, they want to go home. That's it.
So then now let's move on to that follow-up question. In transportation, what was the worst day that happened for you in trans? If there was a bad day, what was your worst experience?
The worst thing that would happen to me is the inmate's detoxing and he's throwing up all over the bus, and I got to get in the 95 because I'm in Manhattan now, That would be the worst. I didn't have any slashings or anything on my buses.
Thank God for that.
So
give me a great day in transportation.
A great day in transportation is going to drop off your first run, and the captain says, "Oh, just stay down there and wait to see if anybody needs to come back to the island." And you're like, okay.
So that just means you had a chill day.
Chill day. We in Chinatown, eating lovely.
So that's that Manhattan house, that Manhattan run. Manhattan courts, rather.
Like that run because it was long, but I loved it.
Okay, so now how long did you stay in trans about?
Maybe a year.
So now now you said, you know what? I'm going to experience something else that's new to me, that's, even out my career. I'm going to go to SOD. SSD, Support Services Division. So
yes.
You went to Support Services Division. How was that? Because a lot of people don't know what Support Services Division actually does. It does an array of things. So what was actually your position in that detail?
Well, I worked in two separate areas. I worked in one area where the inmates were sewing. They were sewing up the sheets and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And they were very calm and cool. They just want to do their little sheets and keep going. Then it's the bakery.
Right.
Which I did not like the bakery. There were too many places for them to hide, too many places to make weapons from all the manufacturing things of the bread, because they made the bread there for the entire island.
See, a lot of people don't know that, so...
Yeah.
Rikers Island used to be very well self-sustained. Like, if you needed to get things done, everything could be done. And if I'm not mistaken, they had like a farm, an agricultural area at one point too, if I'm not mistaken. So
absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, they did it. Go ahead.
No, you finish.
No, so it was early in the morning. It's a 5 to 1 shift. Usually when I got there, they would bring the girls from Rosie's over because they only had females working in there.
Yes.
And it was a very difficult job for them. Okay, those pans were heavy. And a lot of injuries happened. A lot of people were tired. I mean, it's a lot of work. When you first put the bread in, it's doing this little thing. You're mixing it up. It's fine. But when it starts rolling out already baked, you got to hurry up and pack everything up and get it out to the different jails. And so it was very scary. It was a scary thing for me. I always worried about somebody getting their hand cut, caught in something cut. I didn't like that at all.
Wow. And, during that time, I also, at one point in my career, I was the intake captain at Rose M. Singer Center. And I remember they would pick up the females to go to work in the mornings, to go to the bakery. So I never really knew how deep it went in terms of that, thinking that, I'm thinking they just rolling some dough and getting it prepared. But a lot of machinery, I guess.
A lot of machinery. They had civilians in there teaching the girls also how to do it. But it was a very tedious job. We had a high turnover rate. Very high turnover rate. They were tired. They're like, I'm not doing it.
And I guess they weren't mandated either, so they didn't have to. It was like, listen, I just want to make a little change while I'm here for my commissary. But those are the ones that probably didn't even work when they were in the street. So work ethic is a big thing. Work ethic is a big thing. So now, my question to you is, and we kind of established this on the first half before we got disconnected. You said you would not do this job now. So as a young person in the age that we're in, and I know you're going to speak more about this afterwards, but in the age that we're in, the opportunities and the certainty of a pension or just a guaranteed paycheck from a job, what are you telling them? What advice are you giving the young person? Like, hey, Miss Q, I took this test. I took PD. I'm waiting for transit. I'm waiting for corrections, but I think corrections is going to call me first. And I know you was a correction officer. So what advice are you giving? What can you give me to help me, make this decision about working in this line of business?
Well, as far as corrections, I would never, ever give anybody advice to join corrections. My husband's cousin came on the job, I'm going to say maybe 15, 16 years ago. And at that point, I had told him, because I was just retired, I had told him, I said, don't come now. It's too late. I said, don't come because everything is changing too fast, too rapidly. I would tell young people today to find their niche and work on that as opposed to going into corrections. Now, NYPD is going to be here for a while because, they're always talking about how Rikers is going to close down anyway. So I don't see the stability that might be there. But there are so many other professions that they can go into. I mean, we need electricians. We need plumbers. I mean, they make great money. So we're always going to need those. So I think that's the route that they should be going.
So that takes me to another question, right? So trades. In schools. These are things that I feel like they don't teach anymore. They just teach enough for the young people to pass tests. But they're not teaching them how real life skills. Like before, they would have like shop, and they would have economics, and they would have the baking and
Yep, absolutely. They don't even teach them how to write the checkbook.
They don't even listen. They don't know script. They stopped doing cursive writing, I think, when my kids were in school. And
mine too.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, they can't even sign their name because everything, unfortunately, is digitized. Am I saying right? Digitized. So when they even sign on, like, online, when you have to go and they send you a document and you just type your name and that's your signature.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all they do. Everything has evolved. Right. And the horse is out the barn, and you have to find out what works for you. unfortunately, I was talking about this with a friend of mine. It's like most of these young people who have these content creation jobs and everything like that, they're not giving to Social Security.
No.
So what are they going to have? And that's probably why one of the reasons why we'll probably run out.
Right. Right.
Because they're not doing that, you know. But the modern day age grouping, they want to work from home.
Everybody wants to work from home these days. Yeah.
And why go out and be harassed by other people or whatever the case may be? Sit home, make some content, and everything will be good.
But you brought up a point that I kind of maybe overlooked, because you're right. If they're not paying into Social Security, and, there's always been talks that, Social Security is going to run out. Mm-hmm. And people laugh like, how can Social Security run out? I paid my money into it. But you're actually paying into the people who retired, so it moves. So they should be paying us, paying in to pay us, and so forth and so on. No one calculated that what happens when not enough people are actually paying into Social Security. So and
we have more people alive now than we did back then.
And this goes to another point. This is why people need to invest more. Because at least if you're investing, you have some money coming to you, right? You're not relying on Social Security. But if you're not putting anything away, and when I say away, this just angers me so much sometimes. And I guess it's only because I'm now more knowledgeable, right? Everybody used to tell you, they would say, oh, make sure you get a checking and a savings, checking in the savings, checking in the savings, right? Mm-hmm. There's no reason for you to have a savings, because a savings is not earning any money. No interest.
Nothing.
No interest.
0.001.
Yeah, 0.1. 0.1. That's what it earns. You might as well just have the money like our great-great-great-grandparents under the mattress, in the mattress, because it's not working for you. So, I get a little hype about that perspective.
No, I get it.
I
get it. It's because you're right, though.
And our community, unfortunately, doesn't like to listen until it's too late. Like, all of the masses have to be on trend. It has to be trending for them to say, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. If someone is giving great information, they're so skeptical, because they always think somebody in our community is misleading them and not giving them great information. So people out there, and when the blue comes off land, if you are not already investing for your children, they do not need savings account, and you're putting $50 away every paycheck in a savings account, please open up an investment account. And if you have questions, I'm here for you. Make sure I could guide you and put you in the right directions if you have questions. But get some information, gain some knowledge, because at the end of the day, as Q said, if the young people are not working, enough of the young people are not working, and they all got 1099s and self-paying jobs and independent contracting, then they're not paying into Social Security. So we really need to be wary of that, because we're creeping up into those ages, and if not us, our children will definitely be affected by it. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And then the funny thing about the banks now is you can only take out a certain amount of your money.
Right.
They
per
won't
day.
Let you take out.
Yeah. Yeah. They give you an allowance. Like, they tell you how much
you Yes. And if you take out too much money, the government's going to say, what did you need that money for?
And they flag it. So we have to definitely pay more attention to things that are important in our lives versus, I'm sorry, I don't care about Diddy's situation. I don't care about the next episode of BMF. I'm sorry. I need to, I take all of my time and read. I am a constant learner of life, because we are always the last to know anything.
Absolutely. You are so right about that. And I tell people all the time, we could talk about this person all day, but at the end of the day, they going back home to their millions, and what are you going back to? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
They still got the money.
Right. And they got so much money that they could flee the country and do whatever they want. And we're sitting here talking about it all on social media. Oh, speculating, coming up with our own scenarios. Well, let's come up with our own scenarios about getting these family plots and these family lots and things of that nature. That's what we need to be talking about around the kitchen table. Like family generational wealth. Let's talk about that because they have their wealth already. But I digress. I digress because I'll be here all day with that. But guys,
we're going to important. It's important.
It is important. But you know, people don't like to necessarily listen to the things that are important. You know, they just okay, you know, and then they go off on something that's trivial, like the new Jordans that's coming out or the new game that's coming out. That's more important than understanding why the fact that there's billionaires building bunkers all over the country. Right? That's not the conversation. Like what's going on here? Let's talk about that some more.
Absolutely.
But we're gonna take a break. Because you know we were gonna get deep here, guys, and I don't want y'all to think, you know, we're not gonna be that deep over here today. Because what I want,
because I could go down that rabbit hole with you.
Girl, they ain't ready for it. We ain't ready for it. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Miss Karen Quinones-Smith, and she's going to tell us more about what she has been doing since taking off her blue. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hope to see you in a minute. DC here. Did you know that I was a licensed life insurance agent? Well, now you know. And if you have any questions about your life insurance policies or your financial goals, make sure you reach out to me. I hope to hear from you soon. Welcome back, guys. We are here with the one, the only, Karen Quinones-Smith, retired New York City Department of Corrections officer. Now, what she's getting ready to talk about is really what I wanted her to talk about all along. But you know, I had to give y'all a little background because this is when the blue comes off. So now she's going to talk about all the amazing things that she is doing since taking off her blue. Like, she is an AI certified consultant, prompt engineer. She's an esports educator, author, drone instructor, mental health, first aid responder. Like, I'm telling you, the girl is bad, super bad all day. So cute. Let's get into number one, drones. What made you get into that?
Well, that came off of running with esports too. I met some people during esports, and this gentleman owns a nonprofit, and he goes, you know, I could do drones with the inner city kids, the young kids, because they don't realize that this is there. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. I said, let me just come and check out your class and see what you're doing and how you're teaching them. So I saw how the kids were responding. This was high school kids at the time, and we were doing it for another nonprofit in Jamaica. And I was like, I like this. Okay, I'm going to help you with this. So I made up some programs, so we made up lesson plans, and we started teaching the kids a different way because, like I said, I made up some of the lesson plans and everything. And I said, well, listen, I'm teaching these kids how to fly. I think I better learn how to fly too. So I bought myself a drone, and I learned how to fly. I learned how to crash, but I learned everything. I learned how to go through the hoops. You know that they have drone leagues where they race drones?
No.
Yes, they have leagues. They go out racing.
Drone leagues.
Yes.
So, we talked briefly behind the scenes the other day, and I would love for you to share with the audience about the fact about how far esports goes. Like, I didn't even know that this was like a real world out here. Like, this is a real business. Like, this people can get jobs and make a living in esports. Like, how did that come to be that you entered that world? Like, how you go from corrections to esports? Like, how did that happen?
First, I fought my kids a lot. because they wanted to play video games. And I was like, nope, you're going to give me my 4.0. You're not going to do this. You know, your brain's going to melt. This is what the teachers are saying. You know, the board of education. They're like, no, it's not good for them. It's not this. It's not that. So I'm listening to the educators because they should know, right? So I'm taking their keyboards at night because at this point they were no longer playing on consoles like an Xbox console or PlayStation. Mm-hmm. They crossed over into the professional side, which plays on PCs.
Okay.
And I had no idea what was happening. It's just like they're telling me, Mommy, I need this. Mommy, I need this. And I'm just getting it. Meanwhile, I'm still fighting it. I'm like, no, you have a lot of time. Just get off, whatever. Then my older son came up to me and said, Mommy, he is so good. You have to let him go. You have to stop restricting him. And I'm like, correction officer in control. Now you're telling me to give it up. Are you kidding me? And so I let him go. And I saw he started winning with these certain teams he was playing on. So when you start to do good and you have good numbers, other teams would see you in that circle and they'll say, would you like to join us? Would you like to be with our team? So there was this whole thing about contenders. And this is like a semi-pro team. And they're playing against each other. They're winning scholarships. They're winning thousands of dollars, splitting it amongst the team. Then my son says, well, my manager. I'm like, yeah, who? He says, my manager. I said, wait. So you have a manager, you have a coach, you have an owner of the team. Then they started sending him jerseys for the team. Mind you, he's at home playing, but he's got the jersey because then they're in camera and they can see them in the jersey. And I'm like, all right, I still wasn't feeling it. I'm like, all right, I just let it go. Let's just get through high school. Let's do what we got to do. It was time for him. We're in the pandemic. Time for him to look for college. And I'm like, first of all, how are we doing this? I don't know what I'm looking for. This is like really crazy. Mm-hmm. So I found a couple of coaches in our community that were like, listen, I get that you don't know what you're looking for. And if you do not pick our college, I will help you pick the college for your son. So that particular coach is in Texas. And I'm like, well, we're not going up to Texas because things were crazy in Texas during the pandemic and everything. I was like, no, we're not going to Texas. He got into one of the top schools in California. I'm like, oh, we definitely not going that far. He ended up going to a school in Ohio. 25 schools were courting him to come play for them. And I'm like, this is crazy. These schools give out full scholarships, not all of them, but a majority of them. They give out full scholarships just to go to their school and play video games. And when I say full scholarships, I'm talking they pay dormitory too.
Really?
Yes. And most of these schools are in the middle of the country. And you have to know. So my son went off to school. I'm home alone now. Both of my kids are in college. Yay, empty nester. I'm like, I got no marching band to go to. I got nothing to do. What am I going to do? I said, let me research esports more. So I started researching it and finding out more. I met this guy named Bubba. He told me everything I needed to know about esports. He had classes I could take for free. He gave me the classes. And I learned everything about esports. So I said, parents don't know nothing about esports.
No.
I think I need to help them understand. And the schools don't know. So I started talking to the schools. I was talking to all the different colleges, the coaches, and I was asking them, what is it you're looking for in a player? What do you want them to be like? And I was able to create a list of questions for the students to ask the coach when they are being recruited. So this way, everybody's on the same page. Now, these questions were vetted by every coach, and it has to be asked in that specific order. And so many of the kids that I've spoke to have gotten into college. They're really happy where they're at. And yes, the coach wants you to come there to play, but they also want you to love the school because, in life, everything's not guaranteed. And the way gaming is, somebody younger and faster may come along, and then you get pushed back.
So you
you
still
better
have
love
to
the
love the
school you
school.
go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But it was all because of my son, bottom line, that I got into this. I met great people all over the place. I've been to Vegas. They paid me to go to Vegas to talk about it. So it's great. People from Norway have called me. People from Spain have called me to find out, just to pick my brain, to see what I know. And we don't keep the information. The information changes so fast anyway. Listen, you want to know? I'm going to tell you.
So what should a parent
do? It doesn't do anything for me.
So what would a parent? How would you advise a parent who has a child who sits in front of the computer all day and they have these headsets on and they're in it, but they're not knowing that this is something that you can actually get a scholarship for. This is something that they can make a living for. How would one know, or what would be a telltale sign for them to kind of like look further into this direction?
The fact that they're playing is number one. And then I think the main thing a parent has to learn to do, which I learned to do early on, was to talk to them about who they're playing with, like they would be talking to them about the friend that lives next door. Mm-hmm. So you find out their names. You might only get their gamer names. You find out their names, and then you have to start a conversation with your child about it. You have to see where their head is. Some of them just want to play. But some want to be professionals. I mean, NBA 2K is professional leagues they have for that. The Nets have their team, Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they have their own professional teams that play NBA 2K. So if your children are playing these games, I want you to get more involved with them with the game, just like you would when you go to Little League, just like you would when you go to their in-person basketball game. Treat it just like that, because it is considered a sport. That was a long fight, but it's considered a sport, and they are called athletes, but you have to treat them as such.
Wait a minute. They are really called athletes?
Yep.
Wow. Listen, what's the age limit? Let me go learn some esports and try to get me a game, because I used to play the heck out of Street Fighter. Now, I was the Oriental character, Ming Ling or whatever. That was my character, Street Fighter. That's my game. Now, any of those other games, I don't know about.
Let me tell you,
I could play
Street Fighter is one of the top adult games out here. They have adult leagues out here.
See, I can play.
You can. Listen, I'll introduce you to my friend. She has her own pro team in New York.
Get out of here, woman. I got to have her on the show. We got to talk to her. Are you kidding?
Oh, yes.
That is amazing. So guys, listen, it's important, as you see, like as we're evolving in technology, in AI and in gaming, the traditional roads that we would normally talk to our kids, like, hey, go to school, go to college. Now, not saying that you not taking college away, but there are still other avenues and things that they should be going to, you need to go to college to be a lawyer, to be a teacher, the basic things, right? But you have those kids that go to school that take liberal arts because they don't really know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So, basically, we have to open our minds to the new world.
Yes.
So that we can be
absolutely
on the same page as the kids, because some adults just get closed-minded, cut off, it's their way. Mm-hmm. They don't, they're not open to learning anything new. Because how can I compete? Like, when my granddaughter will be 5, like, my conversations with her is not going to be the same as the conversations my grandmother had with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely a different thing. But some of the jobs that are intertwined into esports, is, of course, coaches, analysts, you have general managers, you have owners, you have marketers, you have IT, You have streamers, you have journalists, all these people, and they call their broadcasters shoutcasters. So all these people are circling around the pro players, and they're working in the esports world.
Well, I'm just really excited that you were able to just touch on this, because I know this is a small introduction for the audience, right? I know you're going to be hosting a class for women in corrections. So if you're not a part of Women in Corrections, you might want to be a part of that. I will leave the link about in one of these chats, or you have to follow my When the Blue Comes Off Facebook page, and you can get the information there as well. But Karen, you do have a website, and you do have some other information that you can share with the people in terms of, if they want to reach out and learn more about the esports, the drone. And also, before you do that, touch on the AI verification. Like, what is that? Like, a lot of people are scared of AI. So what do you say about it?
Well, my niche really with AI right now is for everybody 50 and above. Okay, because usually 50 and above, when it comes to technology, nobody cares. They don't want them to know anything. They don't have any time to teach them. So the first thing I say to everybody is, when I do my presentation, is, let me see your smartphone. And they show me the smartphone, and I say, that's AI. I say, do you have a smart car? Do you have a smart home? Do you turn on Amazon and it says recommended for you? Oh, that's AI. Do you turn on Netflix and it say, we think you should watch this? That's AI. And when's the last time you saw a toll booth? So those are things that I show people that we've already there. I just started making everybody laugh with Dick Tracy reference. I said, when we were younger, we get the newspaper, we read the funnies, and we saw Dick Tracy talking to his watch. Aren't we doing that now?
Yeah. Well, listen, I make them laugh too with the Jetsons, right? Because Jetsons, he was doing the Zoom way back, FaceTiming and Zooming a long time ago. So, history kind of repeats itself. They put it out there. You kind of thought it was way far-fetched, like this could never happen. And we are really approaching a lot of those futuristic capabilities. So
absolutely. And AI, you have to embrace it. The barn is open, the horses are gone, it's here, and there's nothing we can do to just push it back into that little pill. It's just not going in. So it behooves you to learn it. I've been doing a lot of libraries, and we go completely over the amount of people that I tell them that I'm going to do, because everybody's signing up for this. Because they want to know. They want to know what they can do. I mean, the passive incomes that you can make, how you can make journals and everything else and sell them on Etsy, you can sell them on Amazon, everywhere. It's just so easy to make things now.
Well, that's why I suggest that these people get a hold of you, get a consultation, because I know you do consultations as well. You're also an author. So where can they find you and get connected to you and get the information so that they can get on this AI train and get on this drone train and get on this esports train? How can they find you?
Absolutely. Well, my website is Bridging the Gap in Esports. Just type it in. I'm the first one that comes up. I'm the only one with that. There's no duplicate to that. Oh, you can even call me, 516-605-3277. And I'll be more than happy to explain it to you, to help you with it. And you'll see it's a lot easier than you thought it was. And there are a lot more opportunities out there than you thought. There's just certain things we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
And that is a fact. And that leads me to this point. You'll never know unless you try it. And my grandmother used to always say, nothing beats a try but a fail. So at least you could say, I tried it. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. Or you may never know. You try it and find that that's your niche, and you can make passive income, or you can just, take it to whatever levels that you desire to take your abilities.
Your dreams.
Yeah.
Your dreams and abilities. Definitely, because it's so much that you could do. So some days I'm like, okay, I'm not learning nothing today. I'm done. Because I have so much information already. I'm like, okay, let's take a break.
Yeah, that is me sometimes. To be like brain overload, right? Because you are a student in life, and it's like everything that comes out, I'm like, oh, I want to learn about this. I like to know about this. And even if I don't master it, I know enough that I can hold a conversation, and I can,
Yes.
it's important to be, whatever room you put me in, I'm going to be able to have a conversation.
Right.
Whether it's
Right.
political, whether it's AI, whether it's commentary about anything, I can hold my own because I like to learn. I am a student of life, and I'm going to continue to live my life and learn and be positive in it. And, some people don't like it. Some people do.
Nope.
Whatever.
Exactly. And I have to give a shout out to my people in community. They spell it with an X. They're doing fabulous things with HBCUs and with esports, with coding, everything. So if you can, look up community online. They are doing great stuff.
And that's what the HBCUs?
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, you hear this now. All my people out here that have their juniors and 10th sophomores getting ready to, start entering the world of college and looking into, I don't know if it's too late for seniors. That's why I said sophomore and juniors.
Yeah.
But this will be the opportunity to see if your kids are actually, because unfortunately the parents are out of the home and they're probably working so much they wouldn't even know if their kids are actually gaming material, esport material. So have a conversation with them and see if this is something that they're actually good at or interested in, because it can pay for their tuition and save you some money in the end.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, I want to thank you so much for finally, getting to me. I know you're busy, and I appreciate the time. I appreciate you sharing this information, because this is such great information, and I wish more people would be open to it. And I hope that you do reach the masses. And we did talk about working together in some form or fashion to get the kids involved. Between AI and STEM, it's very important that we keep our kids engaged in these fields. So
absolutely.
Any other shout outs you want to give?
No, those are my people, man. They're just doing such fabulous stuff. They're really good at what they're doing.
All right. Well, thank you again. You want to give that website one more time?
Yes, Bridging the Gap in Esports. And my number again is 516-605-3277.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today for When the Blue Comes Off. We're coming back at you hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So don't forget, if you want to be a guest or you know someone who wants to be a guest, hit me up. DM me at DC Carter on Facebook or Instagram. You can Deshonda Carter on Instagram, actually. Or you can hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can find me on YouTube at Simply Carter Corp. So thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all real soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I look forward to bringing you many more, all with positive vibes. Remember, whatever you do, do it from the heart with love and passion. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.